Welcome back to Media 7. Auckland has been on the telly quite a bit in the past week, not least in the form of this TV commercial for the $1.8 million Big Little City internal tourism campaign for Auckland. Not everyone in Auckland likes it, but does that matter? Have a look for yourself. Well, that's the ad, but we thought, wait, there's more. Hello, we were moved to Balladry.
'Twas the hour before dawn on the Bastion Point lawn, and the TV reporter, she waited. As the old man went riding, they came out of hiding to make sure that their hunger was sated. And the old man rode on, with no helmet on, till the bridge was no longer gated. Though as the people marched down from Oraki to town, his arrival was somewhat belated. But when Auckland is roaring, ain't this just a bit boring? And shouldn't it all be debated?
And debate it we will. Joining me now are Alex Sweeney, CEO of Heart of the City, which helped develop the campaign, Anna Samways of the Spare Room blog, who recently lashed the ad as pretentious and wrong, and Alistair Kwan, who is, among other things, the publicist for an event that has become a fixture on the Auckland calendar, the so-called Banana Conference for Chinese New Zealanders. Welcome to you all. Now, Alex, let's start with the basics. Who's paying for this campaign, who developed it, and what's it for?
Well, it's an unusual thing here in Auckland that we've got a whole lot of, we've herded cats, rake water. We've got, we represent CBD ratepayers, so it's CBD ratepayers that are paying the supposedly public sector part of it. That's our stakeholders, not the ratepayers of Avondale or...
So it's not Greater Auckland.
No,
that's something that we need to... Yeah, it's not the beaches, it's... Yeah.
And then we've got a whole lot of venues, you know, Vector, the museum, the Edge are strong supporters. We've also got hotel providers in there. We've got Air New Zealand. Air New Zealand are a large partner in this. So, you know, you can see there's a whole lot of private sector interests there. So it's one of those wonderful public-private sector partnerships sort of funding this. I just want to correct you on, well, or clarify something. Yes, the total campaign is $1.4 million, $1.84 million. The ad didn't cost that. The ad was, what was it, about 400,000. The rest is a media buy.
That's a lot of media buy. That's a lot of television, though, isn't it? How much have you plonked down on television? Because most of your audience is in Auckland,
yes.
isn't it?
Well, the driver here was to... We've often boasted a wonderful city of natural attractions, you know, a harbour, volcanic cones and the like. But the problem is in this economic sort of a climate, as beautiful as that is, it's not a... You're not coming here tomorrow, because that's still going to be here next year and the following year and the following year. And around the world, urban marketing, tourism, destination-style campaigns, we want a call to action. So, for instance, if you want to see Simon and Garfunkel, don't come in July. They're going to be here in June the 13th and the 14th. So,
but there was none of that in the ad. All I got from that ad was...
Yes, you're right, because that part of the deal. The thing is, what we do is we've tried to talk about the production. This is what we do 65 days a year, sorry. And what we do is every morning we are getting ready for a big city experience. And it's quite enchanting. A lot of people didn't realise it was Auckland. And there was this romantic...
Exactly. It was...
And we were telling them the story. They were just... This mystical chap was arriving in town, and And a lot of compared it to Paris, ironically. And there's a grittiness. We didn't dress the city up for it. We've just gone and said, this is our city, and we're getting ready. And there's a whole, and so there's the branded good feel, and it's engendered a great sense of pride. We want one. And it's great. There's a little bit of controversy about it. We want to galvanise that debate.
But I mean, to be honest,
and then on the back
Alex,
end of it, on the back end of it, there is a tactical execution that says, over and above that's the branded ad that says this is what we do every day, getting ready for you. And then there is this call to action. And we've opened with, look at the acts that we've opened with. Come to the Big Little City ad. Go to Cats. Go to Cirque du Soleil. Go to Starlight Express. Now, these are events, and we test them by, would you get in a car and drive from Taupo or an aeroplane and drive from Wellington to come to them? And they do that. So that's the tactical execution at the back end of a branded ad. Yes.
I'll have to move on there, but I have to say the thing that ad said to me was Auckland, just like Wellington, but with celebrities. And
yes, well, isn't that wonderful? We have them too.
Do you relate to that? Do you relate to that, Anna?
You're talking to celebrities.
I'm from
You've got your own celebrity
the
here.
provinces, and my aim coming into Auckland's CBD is not to run into Paul Holmes. It's in fact probably the exact opposite. The thing is,
Paul Holmes, do you see Paul Holmes?
The thing is, it looked to me like any sort of, it looked like a Stella Artois ad, you know, and I didn't know, I couldn't relate to that. Okay, it's beautiful, but is it Auckland? No, I don't think so.
In what respect is it not Auckland? Why shouldn't we look sophisticated?
Well, I'm sorry, but when were you last in a Gucci store? I certainly haven't been for a long time.
But
I mean,
we all aspire to.
No, we don't, Alex. This is the point, honey. I mean, you know, the whole thing, you missed your opportunity, I think, with this ad to promote, to differentiate from Newmarket, your arch nemesis, Cameron Brewer, is to promote the CBD as an events capital. Newmarket doesn't have events.
How many Gucci
Auckland
stores
has
in
events, but there was no event in there except a sort of a ubiquitous ballerina in the Civic. I mean,
and the beautiful Bouranga returning. And you see, this is the great thing about the celebrities was just snapshots like that. Bo returning at the White Lady. A very sort of, you know, from a gig with a guitar case there. Very, very subtle, understated.
She'd be going home to put her Ugg boots on and turn on the TV in reality.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but wasn't Bouranga the only Asian in that ad? And Alistair, you know as well as I do, that's not how the Auckland CBD looks.
I look out on the streets and I see Asians everywhere, and I don't see any Asians in that ad.
Is it an invasion, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's an invasion of the heart of the city. But I think it's a great one. It's one that adds like fun and vitality to who we are. And look at all the wonderful food that Asians have brought to the city. To New Zealand.
Yeah, you have to say, Auckland, food hall capital of the country.
Indeed.
Why can't?
I'm sorry, I don't see that in the ad. And I feel very disconnected from that.
Look,
and I think a lot of my
thing is, I don't want this to be a beauty competition. The thinking behind it was, we need to go and start being proud about being Aucklanders and tell romance the rest of New Zealand, not with a big, high-powered, glitzy, bright lights sort of a campaign, a very laconic, meandering message. We're getting ready for you every day. Now, okay, there may not have been enough Asians in there or enough Bolivians, and I apologise for that, and to those.
But sure, no, actually, seriously, things like the Lantern Festival and Diwali are becoming part of
that's why
how we
they
feel
will
about being
feature
Aucklanders.
At our tactical end, they are events that people will come to and be assured they will be handled and managed at the tactical end of this execution within this campaign.
So your second phase, the much mooted
The much
second
awaited.
phase.
The return. So we're there for you. Yeah. Undoubtedly. Diwali will be there, Pacifica will be there. As I say, of course, they all meet the call. Would you get in the car? And they are spectacular shows that go on in the heart of the city, in Central City. I mean, the urban fabric.
Do shut up for a moment.
Sorry. Hold my hands.
Anna, one thing that struck me about the ad that didn't quite sit right with me was that it was all at such a slow, measured pace. Yeah, that old man on the bike. Whereas I kind of think that Aucklanders are seeing a bit more energy about themselves lately. They're storming the Harbour Bridge. They're marching down from Bastion Point. I wonder whether that didn't quite capture that. But does it have to anyway?
Well, look, the main thing it didn't capture, and its idea is to target provincial New Zealand, right? Okay, and to give Auckland a sense of pride. Okay, now if you want to attract the provinces to Auckland, you don't feature what people in the provinces will be muttering under their breath, Auckland wankers, I have to say. You know, they will, you know, and there's a big market out there of the wider Auckland, you know. Why don't Heart of the City say, okay, wider Auckland, come into our events, you know, we'll give you free parking. There you go, and you'll get them in. It's a lot more, you know, in a recessionary times, it's a lot more attractive proposition than getting on a plane from Palmerston North and going to a hotel where you're going to have snooty fashion designers in your cafes, which the provinces don't, you know, want. So I think it needed to be more targeted. And to give you an illustration of who did that really well, Wellington with your Spoil Yourself, that was targeted at women, and it was shopping.
It was an elitist art show of Hammonds, and give me a break. They are taking themselves far too seriously when
Who's got the ballerina and the fashion designer, Alex?
And the fisherman and the...
What I'm saying is, as an ad campaign, they targeted who they wanted to attract. They wanted to attract women, so they said clichédly, obviously, shopping. And then with their, you know, the couple who was having the affair, have an affair with Wellington, you know, they were attracting couples with that. To this, you know, this ad just says to me, who are you after? People who, you know, live in the eastern suburbs and already go to Gucci and go to Peter Gordon's restaurant. And
you need to get over
you know,
Gucci. Let the Gucci
no, but look,
go.
That's a perfect example. You know, Kate Sylvester and Karen Walker are just around the corner. Why didn't you film their shops? Was it product placement?
And who was there? Denise Lestrange-Corbett from just around the corner, walking across O'Connell Street. Thank you.
Yeah,
yes, we're listening.
Was it product placement, the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton?
Nothing.
Oh, you should have got some money off them.
It's all about aspiration. It's all about aspiration.
Alistair, you're in the comms business. What would you have projected about the Auckland you know?
Well, I think the first question is, what's our brand proposition? And I don't believe at the moment Auckland has one, and until we actually work out what the brand proposition is, I mean, other major international cities, Sydney, Melbourne, etc., all have very clear brand propositions. Even Wellington has a clear brand proposition, but where's ours? So I think until we can actually determine...
Help me here. What do you... Help me then. Rather than ask the question, what is the brand proposition that you're proposing? I don't want to...
My one's around diversity. I think it's fun and diversity. Yeah.
And keeping it real, keeping it real.
About the people.
Listen, the great thing is this debate is going on, and it's wonderful that it's activated you and agonised you, you know? Look, absolutely positively Wellington went out in exactly the same sort of problem. When they rolled the red thread through Melbourne, same problem. There are all sorts of detractors. It's wonderful that we've engaged
Do you think, though, Alex, that there is a particular issue with Auckland, and that it does seem to be a bugger to brand? I mean, we've had City of Sales, Auckland City of Lovers, which lasted about 5 minutes. we had Mike Hutchison with his, which turned out to be the secret lesbian sign for vagina. Which I'm sure, I mean, Aucklanders call each other a related word when they're in traffic, but I'm not quite sure it was what we wanted to project. I mean, is Auckland hard to sum up like that?
Look, it's extremely hard. And here we've got 3 different people with 3 different ideas, or probably 4 different ideas. Look, there are plenty of lonely people waiting on the corner for a bus named Perfection. For once, we have got a whole lot of private, public sector money together, making an honest endeavour to get a bit of pride. Come on, guys. It's Auckland. We love the place. There's a lot to talk about. Don't wait for it to be perfect. You know, I'm sorry.
I just want to relate to it, you know. I'm sorry.
Hey, but listen, it's
and
great.
I'm pretty,
You're activated. You're activated, and that's great. So we have got a modern urban visitation strategy happening here. We've got a campaign it's evoking a lot of response. Fantastic. Just like the bugger ads. Wonderful. So we are getting the cut through that we're looking for. And bugger me.
Maybe if
bugger me.
Maybe if you said bugger in the ads, you might have got a little more.
Would you relate to it, would you? So come with us. Auckland, it's a hard place to love some of the time. So look, here is an honest endeavour to get
I
together.
almost would have liked to have the hard place to love thing to be projected, but perhaps I'm getting it wrong because what we want to project to potential tourists is not how we want to feel about the place.
Yeah, exactly. It should be how it is, and how it is. You've got a Auckland University in the Central District. You've got lots of people. You know,
it's got all of those. Yep.
Asian students sitting around eating mussels at the Occidental. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see someone coming out of a nightclub at 7 o'clock as the milkman drove past.
It's like the trailer for an ad, for a movie. You know, how representative is it of the movie? So guys, listen, don't hesitate to do what we didn't want to do. Was go and give you one of these big bright lights ads. Seriously, come here, do this. The big bright, this is a very subtle attempt. You know, my grandmother said, those that talk about money, class or intelligence typically don't have them. And the same can be said of cool. You can't say you're cool, you've just got to be cool. And here is an endeavour just to take a very unexpected Auckland arrival. This is what we do every day in New Zealand to get ready for you.
Do you think you could have chosen a different medium to, you know, rather than throwing money at a big television commercial, in the same way that Queensland Tourism did their best job in the world? That would have been, you know, they spent the same money as you, but they generated $120 million worth of, and I think you'd be lucky to sort of get near that.
Wonderful.
With, you know,
and hats off to Queensland for that.
Do you have an internet strategy? Do you want to reach
Do you want to advertise on Anna's blog?
No, aside from that. Oh, Barrow's come out. But no, seriously, it is. It just seems like a really, you know, people with disposable income are the young people. You know, people who never leave home have children, as we all know. And, you know, so you know, you should be after the young people, the retired. It just didn't target anyone in particular. It was just like, come and see Denise and Peter Gordon and, you know. Do you understand what we're saying about it?
Look, I understand,
yeah.
But do you understand what I say when the last thing that we wanted to be was all things to everyone with a big bright lights ad?
You guys are going to have to take it up in the bar, but I think you got your discussion there, didn't you, Alex?
Yeah, fantastic. So we're all winning.
Yeah.
Come with me.
And we didn't even get to how the old fella now is wearing a helmet, but never mind. That is all we have for you this week. Thank you to our earlier panellists, Clive Lind, Nettie Cullen and Merrin Statham, and to our Auckland panel, Alex Sweeney, Anna Samways and Alistair Kwan. And thank you for watching. We'll be back with Media 7 at the same time next week. Until then, goodbye.